Hi, my name is Mike Alex. This is about my research on whether Holden Hall is actually a good place to study. So, studying is essential to college students, as you know, because of midterms, finals, and quizzes. Sometimes there's just not enough room in libraries or in just study places that are meant for students to study because everybody's using them. But that's why I'm looking into Holden Hall. And I'm going to see if it's an effective place to study. And I'm specifically looking at the basement floor. And not only am I going to see if it's an effective place to study, but I'm going to compare it to the floor directly above it just to see how they compare. But the main question that I'm looking at here is um, is the basement floor of Holden Hall a good study space? And the secondary question is going to be how does the basement of Holden Hall compare to the floor directly above it when it comes to studying? So first, let's look at that environment because, of course, with studying, you need a good study environment. So from EduTopia, we have an article called "The Science of Effective Study Environments." In this article, the author Melina Uncapsha, she's a neurological scientist, and she basically just explains that natural lighting is the best when it comes to learning, as it improves alertness and improves learning altogether. But what's good about that is that Holden Hall has great natural lighting. It has great natural lighting due to the fact that it has big windows, and those big windows just take in all the natural light. So Holden Hall is usually very lit up just from the sun. And now we're going to look at the noise level because obviously noise level is very important when it comes to studying. And we can see that in this study, which shows that low noise levels are optimal when studying. In the study, they just compared a bunch of students studying in different subjects, so it wasn't objective or anything, and put them in high noise levels or low noise levels, and they changed a bunch of different statistics, but what they mainly focused on was the higher and low noise levels. The low noise levels were the students who performed better on test on everything when it came to the end of the study. But both articles will be in the description if you want to look at them more and check them out for yourself. And this is also just to credit the authors and so you can see their work. But these reasons are why I chose Holden Hall as the main source of research. Holden Hall is generally not very noisy and it has really good natural lighting and just really good lighting in general, so you don't have to strain your eyes, strain this, strain that. But to judge whether Holden Hall is an effective study space or not, I'm going to look at what the students themselves are actually studying in Holden Hall. So, right now I'm going to explain the floor plans of Holden Hall. So the first floor plan we're going to see is going to be the bottom floor. I'm going to highlight the desk in yellow, and I'm going to highlight chairs in red, and study cubicles in blue. In the bottom floor of Holden Hall, there's generally a lot more chairs than study cubicles, and there's no desk. But on the floor directly above it, which is going to be the floor plan I'm showing now, I'm going to highlight this highlight's going to be the same: desk in yellow, chairs in red, and study cubicles in blue. The Holden Hall, um, the floor above the basement, it has a lot more study cubicles and it actually has desk. It has tables with chairs and everything, and there's a lot less red chairs, or a lot less chairs in general where there's no desk. And this basically just shows like what we're working with right here, and to show why there may be a difference in the statistics. But for this experiment, for the study, I went to Holden Hall at the same time each day from 12 to 1 for a total of 5 days and collected data to go over it. And over those 5 days, there's been a lot of discoveries. So, generally, I'm going to put up Mondays right now. And on Mondays, we could see that while there is a lot more people on the bottom floor of Holden Hall, there's a lot less people actually studying. And we can see this Like at 12:30, there's 10 people on the floor, but 5 people are studying, which is a 50% ratio, but still, it's 5 out of 10 people. When on average, the top floor of Holden Hall would it averages less people overall, but it's a better ratio people studying versus people not studying. As you see here, 5 people at 12, but also 4 people are studying. And then 12:30 is 100% study rate. 1 is 100% study rate, and so is 1:30, which shows generally that the top floor of Holden Hall is where people study the most. And this is a trend you can see all across the days where there's a lot of people at the bottom floor of Holden Hall, as you see Tuesdays right here. There's a lot of people at the bottom floor, but not many are studying compared to the top, compared to the amount of people there. But the top floor, there's very little people, but majority of them are going to be studying. And then I'll just pull up Wednesday and Thursdays, and you can see the trend continues with more people on the bottom floor and less studying with less people on the top floor, but there's more studying. Friday, however, was a standout day where there wasn't really many people at all compared to the previous days, and there was very little studying as well. But due to this, the people who were present at the top floor were most likely studying because top floor that day there was only really 1 or 2 people on there at all times that I've ever checked. But that's just my data, and I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you. Goodbye.